Good evening, Rowan. It's the evening of the 25th of September 2015 and it's nearly midnight. And you're always telling me I have to be in solidarity with you. So since you've been living it up in Spain this week, I had a siesta this afternoon. So that's why this video is a bit later than usual. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about an article you've written about the Pope's bogus encyclical. Because it's so hilarious, I couldn't overlook it. It was only published today, I think, this article. No earlier than yesterday, anyway, I don't think. So, I'm not going over the whole article, which is a lot better written than your pathetic effort on Brother Roger of Teze, and it even has some references in as well. So I'm just going to pull out a few sentences that I found particularly hilarious. By the way, I hope you like my picture of St Therese of Lisieux. Since you mentioned her in the article, I thought you might like to see a picture of her. So there she is. Anyway, here we go. Because of the eagerness of some commentators to stir the pot of controversy over the causes of climate change. Well, for a start, you mean the causes of global warming, don't you? We're not having any of this climate change nonsense. So, well, we know that the main cause of climate change on Earth is the sun. But then you go on to say there's a massive professional consensus on the rate of climate modification. Well, that's just a blatant lie. There's no professional consensus at all, and I shall show another video that shows that. But this is just propaganda. Why don't you put a reference in to tell us where this massive professional consensus is, so we can all look at it? There isn't one. It's just nonsense. Anyway, our habits of consumption reveal a spiritually disastrous condition. Then it is frankly I'm sorry, this doesn't make sense, I haven't quoted it properly. Then it is frankly a diversionary tactic to make debating points about the Pope's non-infallibility on scientific affairs. So it's a diversionary tactic to say that the globe isn't warming, when that's the whole issue. You're just being ridiculous. Anyway, it was good to read a brief but penetrating reflection on the actual geography of our urban environments, on how we display what we think matters in the way we design our civic spaces. Well, don't tell me you're referring to your astrophysical clergy friend who sexually harassed me for 4 years, had his solicitor write me a letter to try and intimidate me into stop complaining about him, masturbated with his hands in his pockets in front of me when I didn't know what a pervert he was, before I knew what a pervert he was. And then you had me thrown out of that parish for complaining about him, and now you're saying he's going to be penetrating me or I won't get my house back. Oh, well, okay, fine, I'll just stay living here. Because it's a nice flat, the kitchen's better than in my house. I've got more space actually. My cat likes it. I don't have to bother with any gardening. And the neighbours are not such a nightmare. So I'm quite happy. So don't bother. I'm not bothered. Anyway, moving on. These paragraphs should be a powerful diagnostic tool for understanding better what has to be done to rescue urban society, not only what support services should be available, but what absolutely practical considerations should enter into the design of shared space, even the materials used in building. Oh, Don't tell me you're going to have me in psychiatric services, because you're not. Because by the time I've finished suing them and suing you, I'm going to be richer than the Rothschilds, so I'll be laughing. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a big castle built with a moat round it and sharks in it and a sniper on the roof who can spot Anglican clergy and psychiatrists before he can see the whites of their eyes. So don't bother. Right, moving on. The fact that we live in a culture tone deaf. Oh, I'm gutted if you don't like my music. But you do like the Sisters of Mercy, don't you? That's why you quote them. You know, all this time you were wearing these silly outfits and that, I just thought you were a poser. You were pretending to be an archbishop. But then it turns out, all along I was mistaken, and you really wear them because you're a goth. And now I know that because you've quoted the Sisters of Mercy. So I won't make that mistake in future. The fact that we live in a culture tone deaf to any sense of natural law is here starkly illustrated by the persistent tendency of modern human agents. Do you mean people? The persistent tendency of modern human agents to act as though the naked fact of personal desire for unlimited acquisition were the only given in the universe. You're totally mad. You're mad. If I believed in psychiatry, you'd be the one who needed it. Anyway, it is this fantasy of living in an endlessly adjustable world in which every physical boundary can be renegotiated. Well, let me tell you, there's going to be no renegotiations of my physical boundaries. I do not negotiate. The connections between a lawlessly drug-abusing culture, the toxic social and political distortions imposed by this on poorer societies, the requirements of drug supply, and the resultant decay in the rule of law all around. So you're trying to threaten me with psychiatry as well, aren't you? Are you a member of the Royal College of Psychiatrists anyway? Do you have any say in the matter? Do you have any say in the matter? I don't believe in psychiatry. I'm not having anything to do with it. But even if I did, it's got nothing to do with you. And you're not even competent as a psychiatrist, whatever competence any of them may have. So there you are. So don't bother trying to threaten me. You're just a pathetic little man. So anyway, this is what you say. Tell us, aspirant politicians, in brackets. That's me you're talking to, isn't it? What you want, and we shall argue about which of us can give it to you most effectively. Well, let me tell you what I want. I want you to stop lying your face off. I want you to admit all the lies you've told and all the damage you've caused, not only to me, not only on the international scene, but the suicides in your wake. A trail of devastated lives that I know about from personal testimonies and from things that are freely available in the public domain that anybody can research. So I want you to stop lying and stop trying to save your own pathetic little skin. So that's what I want. Are you going to give that to me? I doubt it. Anyway, you do say something about T.S. Eliot, bells ringing backwards. I'm not even bothering with the context of that. I'm just going to say, you're jealous. You can stay jealous as well, you pathetic little man. Honestly, what a sad and dirty bastard you are. Well, have a nice day in Brecon. And don't forget to be alert, because if my friend's working and he can't make it to make a citizen's arrest, I've got friends all over the country and I can travel about wherever I want as well. So be alert. Have a nice day. Bye.